Hi, and welcome to the business of being a virtual assistant. I'm your host, Tiffany Parson, and this is episode number 167. And we're going to discuss whether or not you are searchable. What do I mean by that? Well, I was browsing a business group that I'm in, and I was doing a search, virtual assistant, because I'm always curious to know, what are people saying? Are they looking for a virtual assistant, or are they sharing some information about virtual assistants? What is it? In this particular post, the person was asking a question about where people were finding their VAs. Someone in the comments said that they found theirs on Instagram and that she did not immediately reach out to her. She first did a little investigating or spying, if you will, to make sure that this was someone who was stable and not crazy. Those were her words. Based on that, I got the impression that she has dealt with somebody who was not stable or was crazy that was providing virtual assistant services. Of course, no one listened to this podcast. Point being, are you searchable? If someone were on Instagram and they were searching, maybe she was searching virtual assistant. Maybe she was searching Pinterest virtual assistant. Maybe she was searching social media manager. Maybe she was searching bookkeeping, tech support, Instagram management. I don't know. She didn't say exactly what she was searching for, but I want you to get the point. The hashtags were used in order for her to locate her virtual assistant. I have also been found on Instagram. And I don't know if it was because they searched hashtags or was following me and learned after the fact what I did. I'm not exactly sure. But I've also been found on Instagram. You want to make sure that you are searchable. The beauty of social media is that you get to be yourself. You get to share with the world who you are, what you do. You get to show them how you do it. Another thing that potential clients are concerned about is whether you know how to utilize the systems and processes that they use, the things that work best for them. So how can we demonstrate that we know how to use the things that they use if we don't know what they use? Well, that's a great question, right? We can't possibly know everything, but we can pull from our own toolbox the things that we enjoy using. For example, for webinars, I really enjoy using Zoom. And so when there is a new feature that I find on Zoom, I share it. Now, it doesn't have to be a feature that was brand spanking new, but this feature is new to me, and I shared it on Instagram, I shared it on Facebook, and it was new to a whole lot of other people too. Now, I'm creating a video to show them how to use this new feature. Well, new to us feature. I'm sharing that to let you know it doesn't have to be something that's brand new or because it came out a year ago or 2 years ago. And you're just finding out about it. You're not the only one that's just finding out about it. Somebody else knows. You can show and share and use hashtags. So now that's an example of people seeing that you know what you're doing. You know your stuff. You know what you're talking about. Even when learning. Because it's not that I'm learning how to use Zoom. I've been using it for a long time. But this one particular feature makes it very interesting and fun. And that's what I'm passing on and sharing with clients. Now I got some notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything that I wrote down. And pulling together the podcast and coming up with different things, it's like a lot of ideas were rushing and I wrote them all down. Not that I'll even use them all for this particular episode. Here's something that and I know most of my listeners and viewers are women. We tend to do is shrink ourselves. We tend to pull back and not exude all the brilliance and fullness that we are. Recently, I was listening to a podcast and It was the Love Hour podcast, and they had a crossover with another couple, and I can't remember what the name of their podcast was, but it was like a part, I would call it part 1 and part 2. And the women were talking about how men, like, they don't even have to be fully qualified for something, and they'll go out for it. For example, a job. Let's say there are 8 qualifications on this description. We'll use a project description. 8 qualifications. A guy could see 4 of those things on the list that, oh yeah, I do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have the other 4, but I got the other 4. And I can learn the rest. He's going for it. Many of us, we look at the 8 things and we're like, yeah. You know, we got the 4 things. But then we look at the other 4 things. Oh, shucks. No, I don't have it. I don't have everything, so I won't do it. We disqualify ourselves. Whereas the guys take a chance. They take a risk. They jump on out there. They're like, hey, I know how to, I'm using swimming analogies. I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but you know, a guy is going to be like, you know what? I know how to do the doggy paddle, and I'll learn on my way how to do the freestyle. And he's going. We're meanwhile like, oh man, I only know the freestyle, the doggy paddle. I don't know the freestyle. So I'll wait till I learn the freestyle and then I'll go. Meanwhile, the opportunity was given to him. We got to be searchable, and we can't shrink back. Got to be searchable, and we cannot shrink back. I'm mentioning the shrinking because a lot of people that I've talked to about social media are afraid to put themselves out there. Whether it's a picture, video, words, they're concerned about trolls. And the funny thing about that fear is that you got to create a whole lot of content. Not just create it, but hit publish on a whole lot of content to get trolls. I have not arrived at troll status yet. I look forward to the troll status because that means I've created a whole lot of content to even reach a troll. Not just created, hit publish. Because you could be sitting on lots of things you've written, lots of graphics you've created or posts. Oh, you could be sitting on a lot of content that you created, but how much have you published? So when I hear people talk about, I'm afraid of what someone's going to say about how I look, how I dress, how I talk. You're going to have to reach a whole crowd of people before you get to that point. And if you're afraid of the first step, you'll never hit the troll. And it's funny when you get to that point, you know, this is the way I see it because I don't comment on a lot of things often. Like something really has to move me to comment. I hit like, I hit share. I'll do those things. I'm working on being more social. Those of you that have followed me for a while, you know, I am an introvert and it even comes out in social media. And so I don't always comment on things. So if someone were to say something off, it's like they don't even know you. Who cares? They don't know you. You know, I've gotten off comments about my hair, not here on social media or the podcast or anything like that, but in person. You know, sometimes we think, oh, people would say that in person. But older people say things that, you know, they feel like they could say whatever. And in the move back to going natural with my hair, I've gotten some funny comments from old people. Y'all, well, if you've listened for a while, I teach a group fitness class at the local Y. And sometimes I'll get comments from the class that's, leaving out as I'm coming in, and I always speak and say hey to everybody and all that good stuff. And it may just be in jest, I don't know, about my hair, but it doesn't bother me. Like they don't know, like they know me the couple of times they see me in a week. But it's really not that big of a deal. One lady is like, when are you going to do something to your hair? When are you going, I like it. And that's all that matters. I like it. My husband likes it. We're good. So if showing up on social media, I'm pushing hashtags is a fear. And I'm really talking about video, because we can easily slap up a picture. But video, I want to press upon you video as a service provider, as a virtual assistant business owner, because the fears that were noted in that comments where the lady was like, I found them on Instagram through a search. I, kind of spied a little bit, basically hung out to see, make sure there was nothing crazy. She wasn't unstable. See, if you can get on video, then people see you, hear you. They can see your body language, how you move, how you talk, and get a feel, almost like you're speaking in person. So you're having that extra connection beyond the one layer of words. Now it's double layers, because now they got your words and your voice. And they'll either be drawn into you and be more interested, or they will be repelled and go away. And for the majority of the people that fall into that category of repelling, like you won't even know. They just won't show up. They just won't show up. So don't worry about the trolls. You have a whole lot more content to publish before it even gets to that point. And when you get to that point, they don't know you, you don't know them. It's like whatever, right? Because you know you and you're all good with what's going on. Okay, so in 2020, something I want to do more of is start reading. And I'm starting out with a book a month, being realistic with myself. And I would love for you to join me in this. What's going to happen for the next 30 days is we're going to read a book together. I am going to share on the Facebook page about what I'm reading, what I got out of the chapters, because I tell you, when reading personal development books, I have been one to skip over the exercises. And I'm like, you know what? I probably should actually dive into some of these exercises, and thought it'd be fun for you to join me as well if you're interested. So I'll post more on the Facebook page. Hopefully you're already following. But for my first timers who are like, what? I don't know about a Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/TBBVA, that stands for The Business of Being a Virtual Assistant. So TBBVA. We're going to read Valerie Burton's book, 9 Successful Women Think Differently, 9 Habits to Make You Happier, Healthier, and More Resilient. And I've had this book for a couple of years. She came and spoke at a conference that I attended and had started reading and did not finish. And so I want to start reading this. The episode, the podcast I was listening to and telling you about, where they pointed out how women shrink back, how, the guys will go for things they're not totally qualified, and we kind of pull back. And I don't want to do that anymore. And this book came to mind as I was setting up to record, and I thought, you know what, let's do it. So here we are. This is going to be the first one for the next 30 days. I hope you join me. Now, if you're interested in diving even deeper in today's discussion, also join over on the Facebook page. It is an open Facebook page. That is where our community is. Again, if you go to facebook.com TBBVA. So that's where we hang out and have a discussion there. And also, when you get there, look for the pinned post at the very top where I ask, what is your specialty? Share with us in the comments what you specialize in your virtual assistant business. It's good to connect, see what everybody's specialty is. For me, it's online technical support and strategy for coaches, churches, and nonprofit organizations. That is my wheelhouse and where I find the most pleasure in serving clients. So you've got a couple of action steps here. First things first, get searchable. Start posting. Let's read this together so we can get off of this shrinking back train and get on this pushing forward train, right? Successful women think differently. And then the other thing, following the Facebook page. So those are your 3 things. So I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you so much for taking the time out to hang with me. You have a wonderful and fantastic day.